Oh shit. Here we go again.
Oh my God.
I feel like this is what everybody's watching for anyways. They want to see me have a meltdown.
Pathetic. And I know it's your favorite team, but I'm going to say, JD, I'm going to be honest with you. It's been, the last month and a half has been absolutely god-awful, garbage football, day in and day out. I don't know what's going on with Sirianni. I don't know what's going on with the offense. The defense is terrible. The secondary can't cover anybody.
Bradbury's the worst corner in football.
I don't get it.
No.
I don't understand. I don't.
It like when you look at it from outside football, right? It obviously looks like a total collapse. But what is happening in that locker room? There has to be something lost. Obviously, you take a hit as a mental when you're 10-1, you catch a loss, and then you start to struggle a little bit. You have some injuries, but at some point,
it was a snowball effect.
Yeah, it kept getting worse. There was like not even a look of a turn. It just literally kept going downhill. 9 points against a Buccaneers defense. Not even that. I'm not even going to talk about the offensive woes yet because I want to talk about the defense. 32 points given up, and it should have been worse. They should have scored 50 on us because of the drop passes.
Yeah.
To a team that last week
scored 9 points against Carolina. The worst team in the league.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lord, please forgive us for it looks like we are sinning. We have a guest appearance from not only the big man in red himself today, but possibly an interview from a good friend of the podcast, Brian. I don't know Brian's last name.
Carroll.
Brian Carroll. I know Brian. I played Call of Duty with him a couple times.
Yeah.
But he knows his football. He talks his football. So it'd definitely be somebody good to have on. Wildcard weekend. Murph. I don't know if I can refer to you as Murph with the mask on. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, Murph took a fall.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. It's not good.
He took a fall. The ice is legit. I've seen the pictures and videos of Western Kentucky, and the snow and ice has landed on you guys pretty good. So they got the best of one of them. Don't let it get the best of you. Let this be a warning to all those in the surrounding area. It's definitely cold as shit here, bro. Oh my God, it's so fucking cold too. You get some of the snow in the parts that are like miserable, like down your shirt and shit. You probably didn't feel it.
It's awful.
So much.
No,
Lord.
I hate winter, man. I wish it could be summer all the time, but it is what it is. That's football weather,
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, football weather. We got a lot of football to talk about. We did have wildcard weekend, a lot of letdowns, me especially, but that game is going to be the last one to be discussed. I think everybody has their opinions, and a lot of news has been circulating, but let's start Texans, Browns. The so-called best defense in football falls 45-14 in an absolute showing by Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, Will Anderson Jr. They put on a show, and Joe Flacco looked like Joe Flacco of a couple years ago, all over again.
Well, we were waiting for him to turn back into a pumpkin. You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck this. Fuck it. Look, I fell. I busted my face open. It is what it is. All right.
It happens.
But we were all waiting for Joe Flacco to turn back into a pumpkin. We all knew, fuck it. We knew what to expect out of Flacco. And what's so funny is I was sitting there on, was it Saturday?
Yeah.
And I said, Joe Flacco's elite. And literally after I fucking said that, the two back-to-back pick sixes happened. So the fade god is still alive and real,
Yeah.
But I didn't expect. I thought the Browns defense would show up a little bit better than they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Houston, man, they just showed out. They fucking blew out everybody's expectations. We all thought, CJ Stroud was legit, but he proved himself over and over again in that game. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I think Stroud put on an absolute show. It kind of proved that he's in a different class when it comes to these, rookie quarterbacks. I'm sure the Panthers are having their regrets as, the entire media is kind of putting into perspective. But, if your aunt had a whatever, I don't even know the saying. If your aunt had a willy, she'd be your uncle or something like that. If you shoulda, woulda, coulda. It was a good show.
Well, that was my bet of the week too. It was fucking Cleveland -2, and then I had the under, and literally it was destroyed within fucking 20 minutes of that game.
20 minutes. It was. I don't even know how to I know that I was with Kayla and we were watching it, and it was just. It was back and forth for the first 8 minutes, and then I texted you and I was like, I don't know, dude. The Texans just seem to have it right now. The Browns aren't.
The Stroud boys.
The Stroud boys stood up, man. They really showed out. Put together a real good performance.
This is a historic run by CJ. We haven't seen a rookie quarterback have this type of fucking playoff campaign.
Yeah.
And I know they play the Ravens this coming up week, but we'll see what happens. But man, CJ Stroud, he is over delivering on every single promise that he ever made in his life.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see what he is able to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Especially with D'Amico Ryans being a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Having suffering through injuries the entire season,
Yeah.
So, great story from Houston.
Yeah, great story for Houston, and I think people forget too. It's also a good story for the Browns. Yeah, they fell short, and it didn't go, I think, as they expected this playoff appearance to go. But the fact that they ended up 12-5 despite everything that went on for them, losing Chubb.
They started 4 different quarterbacks through the season.
It's absolutely incredible. Stefanski put on a masterclass coaching performance. The fact that these guys showed up and down the stretch, I mean, they were the best team in football there for the last 5 weeks of football. It was very impressive. I do hate that it was a blowout, but then again, I am very happy for my Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, his playoff head coaching performance, and the meme where it's like the Bloods in the crib, or the 2 big arms, the black and white inner meme, the locking arms. That's Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud and Michigan wide receiver Nico Collins meeting to get the Texans a playoff.
Absolutely.
We will combine. I think that's literal verbal meme. All right, next game, the freezing tundra Tyreek Bull return home to Arrowhead game. Dolphins go into the Sub-Zero game, face the Chiefs. I don't even think there's a lot to say about this game. The Chiefs were frauds all season. They didn't really put up a fight. The biggest takeaway from the damn game was Taylor Swift swag surfing and Patrick Mahomes' broken helmet, which you're saying that the Chiefs are the new Patriots and they get every call. The one thing I will say, the fact that they didn't stop play or make them use a timeout for Mahomes to change out
switch out helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been several examples of the Chiefs getting the benefit of the doubt throughout the season. I don't know if you remember, but it was a secondary player, cornerback. He took his helmet off.
Yeah.
And the ref literally said, "Hey, put your helmet on, or I'm going to throw a flag."
Yeah. Fuck, who was that for?
It was Sneed, I think. It was Darius Sneed.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. Yeah, it was Chiefs.
But they get every call.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it just seems to be – it's like every call in the Chiefs game seems to go their way. But I don't know. I think Luck's going to end up running out. They've got a tough match coming up, which I'm sure we'll get into. I don't have too much to talk about this game other than, Patrick Mahomes. When it comes to playoff time, I don't think you can bet against him. I still think
No, it's like Brady,
he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Whenever push comes to shove, Mahomes will show up and he'll put on a masterclass if he has to. But I do think this game against the Bills this weekend is going to be a tough call. I think it's going to come down to whoever's got the ball last. That game
Buffalo is a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, it'll be tough. That'll definitely be a tough game to pick. I don't know. I'm very in between. I'd like Buffalo to, I'm begging Buffalo to knock the Chiefs off, truthfully.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. The way the Bills have played all year, they're both 11-6. The Chiefs have underperformed. Drop pass after drop pass. Travis Kelce's not the same. Rashee Rice is really the only receiver that you can expect anything out of.
Yeah.
I think the Bills going into Arrowhead, I think they have the edge. Like I said, they're a 3-point favorite. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Buffalo. I think I texted you earlier in the week and I said this feels like a Buffalo Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, they go into Baltimore and they beat Baltimore. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah. I think I know it doesn't matter, the Bills are a cold weather team, the Chiefs themselves are a cold weather team, so I don't think the weather will be impactful at all. I think it just comes down to where the teams are at this point. Obviously, the Chiefs' defense is really good, but there's just something about when Josh Allen is playing good, and dude,
exactly.
he is
he's on point, man.
He's playing good right now. I can't as much as I can't bet against Mahomes when Josh Allen's playing right, dude. You cannot bet against the guy. It's tough to do so. So we'll have to talk about that. We'll talk about Josh Allen when we get there. The Sunday game, though, there was two of them because the Steelers-Bills game did move to Monday for those who weren't aware. And if you weren't aware, then I don't know why you're watching our show. Packers go down to Dallas, wring the neck of the Cowboys, probably put Jerry Jones in a coffin. Jordan Love, man, all the shit that I've said about Jordan Love this year. That's supposed to be a great defense down there in Dallas. Fast, get in your face, chase you down.
But is that not like what you expect out of Dallas? To be good all year, win 12 games, and then in the playoffs totally choke against the youngest team in the league. Yep. Green Bay totally came out and just controlled the game from wire to wire. It wasn't even a contest. I didn't even turn the game on until the second quarter, and it was 14-0.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, another Cowboys fucking choke fest, and as much as you want to, whatever you want to say about Dallas all year, but this is what they do. This is what they do. They overperform in the regular season, and then whenever it comes to nut cutting time, they choke.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. I think this all comes back to two things with Dallas. They have the talented players. There's no reason that they shouldn't. Here's what it falls back on. Dak Prescott, number one. When the lights shine bright, Dak falls flat on his face every time. At this point, how do you not know this? When has he stepped up? Ever. The only time he's beaten the Eagles is when they're depleted and broken. And that's the biggest in-season game. And he makes it to the playoffs on a shit schedule every year and falls flat on his face. They ended Brady's career. That's his biggest. A 9-8 Tom Brady in the last year of his career. That's the biggest moment. And then you have Mike McCarthy, who is a fat-faced buffoon.
Fire him.
Fire him so fast.
Why in the fucking hell would you keep him on?
Yeah.
Whenever you got Dan Quinn, who is a Super Bowl caliber coach, defensive coordinator, it's like, dude, come on. I know that, Belichick, that name has been thrown around a lot, and, there's been a lot of speculation about maybe him going to Atlanta, Jim Harbaugh going to Atlanta, this, that, and the other. But, dude, like, Dallas, you have Super Bowl expectations every
Yeah.
year. You have you not only do you have the roster, but you also have the ownership, the organization around you. You got to perform. You're
You
paying
have
Dak
to.
how much? How much are you paying Dak?
What,
Yeah.
50? He hits $58 million next year, I think, on the cap.
Pathetic
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
You throw how many
Agreed.
interceptions against Green Bay's defense, who has been awful all year?
Been miserable, yeah. At its weakest points, they were one of the worst defense. They were getting carried by their offense a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah, so this is
Jordan Love carried that team to where they are now.
Yep. I think it also speaks to Green Bay either has the greatest fucking luck in the world when it comes to quarterbacks, or they have a system that seems to work organizationally to go from Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and to what looks like, Jordan Love was throwing back foot, one-footed
Dude, it was like
lasers.
identical to Aaron Rodgers. It was like crazy,
to sit behind Aaron for 3-4
But
years.
we've had this conversation earlier in the season. I think it's important for young quarterbacks to sit behind a veteran and learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of overlooked in today's game. We expect all these young quarterbacks to just come out and perform, but look at Bryce Young. Look at all. There's multiple examples of young quarterbacks that have underperformed over the years because they just don't have the guidance. You know what I mean? It's a professional league.
Yeah.
The quarterback is the most important job on the field. You have there is a way to go about it. And if you have somebody like Aaron Rodgers, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time to ever play, and you get 3 years to sit behind him and learn and watch, like that is important. And I think that's kind of undervalued for a lot of these young quarterbacks is they don't have the opportunity to sit back and learn from an all-time great.
Yeah. I think it's time for the Cowboys, and this is off the Packers subject. I think it's time for the Cowboys to put Trey Lance in this next year. And
you got to see what you got to see what you got.
To see what you got because
absolutely.
It's time to see if I don't even this offseason you guys should be on chasing the market to see what you can find, even if you keep Trey Lance or whatever you got to do. This next year is his 5th year, so after this he walks. So I think that's another point to bring up. But Packers, man, they've done everything right somehow, some way through all the turmoil with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and the ups and downs that they have had. They've turned it into another season where they make the playoffs and knock off a conference winning or a divisional champion. It's hard to deny that the Packers aren't doing the right thing.
Right. And it was easy for us to sit here and say halfway through the season, oh, Jordan Love is a bust. Matt LaFleur doesn't know what he's doing. Green Bay's defense is awful. But you show up in October, November, December, January, they are performing the way they need to. They're in the playoffs. It is what it is. And you can sit here and say it's a surprise, but at the end of the day, Green Bay has been great for the last 30 years. Let's just be honest. Since me and you have been born, Green Bay has been an absolute banger, and year in and year out, no matter who is behind the center.
Yep. Good for Green Bay. A hell of a win. They do have a tough matchup coming up, but we will get to that. Let's get on to this Sunday night game, probably the best game of the weekend, the one that I felt like was a thriller. It had the best narrative, and it played out perfectly. It was the Matthew Stafford-led the Matthew Stafford-led Rams coming back to Detroit, take on the team that he grew up with, and the Detroit Lions. And Detroit Lions behind former Rams quarterback come out on top 24-23. What a game. That was a fun game to watch. You were saying it was going to be – you even, like, live bet it. And I wanted to say this, too. I want to slide this in there. I bet $50 on the Packers to win. That's the best bet I ever put in. I just wanted everybody to know I'm a genius. All right. But you did live bet the 2.5 point spread, and you were like, it's going to come down to field goal, or what was it, 4.5 or 2.5? Yeah, 2.5.
It was 2.5, but the Lions ended up winning 24-23.
24-23, and it was going in that direction, and we were talking, and it was in the midst of me winning a bet, that something I haven't won pretty much all year, but we were talking live bets, and I was like, damn, he's right on it, and it ended up being so close. That's the betting thing too. A lot of people, stay close to these bets, and they just fall short by, that 2 points is all you need to, like, just give me a field goal, but neither here nor there. Jared Goff and the Lions, Dan Campbell, congratulations to them. It was a fun game to watch, very much so. A revenge game for Jared Goff. He got one over on his old coach. I mean, and I seen a thing
my only thing is I don't understand why the Rams punted late in the game whenever you could go for it, 4th and whatever it was, 2, 3, 5, whatever. But you've got Stafford, an Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're instead you're gonna bet on your defense to get a stop.
Yeah.
Whenever they have the Rams defense has been awful all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so why not go for it there at the end of the game instead of punting it away and then trying to get a stop whenever your defense is not that good. That was a questionable call by Sean McVay. I thought they should have went for it at the end of the game, but a hell of a game, hell of an effort by both teams. I figured it was the first game in 30 years at Detroit. That they were ready to just go ahead and just take it, whatever needed to happen, they were ready to perform, good on Jared Goff, good on Dan Campbell, good on that offense, it was impressive. And we'll see what happens this coming up week, but I think the Lions will probably win again, and we'll probably see them in the NFC Championship. Moving forward.
It's a hell of a story and a hell of a timeline when you put everything into perspective as to where the Lions have started with this Dan Campbell era and the 0-16 season to be in position to face off for an NFC Championship. It's absolutely incredible. I seen a tweet that I thought was hilarious. Was Lion fans were like, okay, finally I can say it, we won, but Matthew Stafford, he was fucking slinging that thing.
He was absolutely, man. It was impressive. You see some of the arm angles and some of the passes that he made in that game. It was incredible. Stafford
still got it.
Absolutely, 100% Hall of Famer, first ballot.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree with that. Congratulations to the Lions. I think the Rams, they overperformed this season, and they put up a great fight. And probably the toughest matchup they could have was going to Detroit, Stafford going home, all of the narratives.
I mean, you've got 30 years of animosity. My thing just fell. Sorry.
That scared the fuck out of me. Fucking haunted ass.
My thing just fell. I had Goku up there last week, but Emmy, my daughter, she wants to take ownership of Goku, even though she don't even know who Goku is.
She's like, that's mine.
Right. But anyway, man, you got 30 years of animosity going through your veins. You got a home game at Detroit.
Yeah,
man, it's hard for the and we talk about it every week, but the script writers really outdid themselves. Fucking Stafford going back to his home team wherever he was drafted. 30 years drought, playoff run, and they end up losing by 1 point. I mean, what the fuck?
Verbal meme, the Shawn Michaels having to kick Ric Flair, and he's like, I'm sorry. And he
I love
him
you.
in the chin.
I love you.
Fucking.
I love
my
you.
God. That shit. Oh man, good for the Lions. Congratulations to the Rams on a good season. I know it's short of where They wanted to keep moving, but it's just tough facing a good offense like the Lions. They put on a good show. All right, let's talk Monday. Shit show. I mean, I can't even say shit show because the Steelers did fight hard. They came together, I feel like, but the Bills just they were prepared. They were prepared. They were the team. They wanted it. Their fans wanted it.
It's Bill's team of destiny type feel.
Yeah.
Like
That's
Josh Allen's ready to go. Sean McDermott 6-0 since he talked about Al Qaeda or whatever. I mean, I'm just like, what can you do to stop them right now? There's nothing you can do. The running game, James Cook looks awesome. You got obviously Stephon Diggs has kind of taken a step back, but you've got Shakir and you've got Gabriel Davis. You've got Dalton Kincaid, who has been an absolute fucking animal this season. One of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen out of tight end. So tough on the who do they play? Tough on
Steelers.
The Steelers, but honestly, they have major questions when it comes to quarterback. TJ Watt didn't play. Yeah. So it's just a lot of questions. Yeah, it was going to be it was going to be a mountain to climb anyway. Yeah. You look at it.
They put up a tough fight, and it was close all the way to the end, right there towards.
Well, it would have been easy for them to just pack it in. You know what I mean? It was like 21-0 at halftime or whatever, and it ended up being kind of a close game there at the end. But they just didn't have the talent there. The Bills just home game. A lot of controversy surrounding it. They had fans had to shovel their fucking seats out from the snow.
You see the pictures of the fans are like up on the piles of seats, like the snow on the seats, and they're just like drinking beers, hanging out. It's like those are dedicated ass fucking
That's Bill's
fans.
Mafia. Bill's Mafia.
They're jumping off of piles of snow into flaming tables. It's like I can't wait for Taylor Swift to show up in Buffalo next week and see the drunkest people she's ever seen in her life. She's
going to be flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted. She's like, people at my shows do not get like this. People can't see.
We're civilized, okay?
Yeah, civilized. Nah, you're
well.
About to
obviously, you've never met a Bills fan.
Yeah, They just drop an elbow onto her fucking rent-a-car or whatever,
right on the cranium. Just
welcome to Buffalo, Taylor. Woo!
Yeah.
I would pay a lot of money for that, even though that lawsuit would be insane. Yeah, the Steelers didn't muster up a lot of offense. It was 24-17, halfway through that fourth quarter. But Bills, Josh Allen, they put a dagger in them, 31-17. There's not too much to take away here. I think the biggest thing about this game was, like, what is there to come of Mike Tomlin? I honestly think Mike Tomlin is fed up with Pittsburgh media and this whole thing every year about him being on the hot seat.
They had to find a quarterback. They got to find a replacement for Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Roethlisberger was, an all-time great. You put him up there with Brady. You put him up there with fucking, anybody in the last 10 years. He's one of the best quarterbacks to play. Yep. So you gotta find a replacement. I don't think Trubisky is it. I don't think Mason Rudolph is it. I don't think Kenny Pickett is it. I think this offseason, kind of, if you're Pittsburgh, you have to draft somebody or try to sign somebody and figure out what you want to do moving forward with your offense, because you've got Najee Harris, great running back. You've got Deontay Johnson, you got Kenny Pickett, you've got Pat Freiermuth. So it's not like you don't have weapons on the offensive side. And then obviously you have TJ Watt. As long as he can stay healthy, he's one of the best players in the league. Minka Fitzpatrick. You've got Highsmith. You've got, a multitude of talent. You know what I mean? But you have to find a quarterback. That is the main thing, is find a quarterback and figure out what you want to do offensively.
Yeah. Pittsburgh fans, I feel like you guys should be grateful for the fact that you were in this position. You had a chance. And as good as the Bills played,
fucking 17 years without a losing season. Come on.
God, it must be fucking nice. I remember the year the Eagles made the quote-unquote super team, and they had Vince Young as a backup quarterback. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they went like 4-12.
4-11 or something like that.
The most I ever fucking believed in a team. It's like, it must be nice to not have a losing record. You still, at the end of the year, can hold your head up high, which is completely asinine. Let's talk about these fucking Eagles.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I feel like this is what everybody's watching for anyways. They want to see me have a meltdown.
Pathetic. And I know it's your favorite team, but I'm going to say, JD, I'm going to be honest with you. It's been the last month and a half has been absolutely god-awful garbage football day in and day out. I don't know what's going on with Sirianni. I don't know what's going on with the offense. The defense is terrible. The secondary can't cover anybody.
Bradbury's the worst corner in football.
I don't get it.
No.
I don't understand. I don't.
It like when you look at it from outside football, right? It obviously looks like a total collapse. But what is happening in that locker room? There has to be something lost. Obviously, you take a hit as a mental when you're 10-1, you catch a loss, and then you start to struggle a little bit. You have some injuries, but at some point,
it was a snowball effect.
Yeah, it kept getting worse. There was like not even a look of a turn. It just literally kept going downhill. 9 points against a Buccaneers defense. Not even that. I'm not even going to talk about the offensive woes yet because I want to talk about the defense. 32 points given up, and it should have been worse. They should have scored 50 on us because of the drop passes.
Yeah.
To a team that last week
scored 9 points against Carolina. The worst team in the league.
Oh my!
What the fuck?
Let me say something. James Bradbury, you should not have a job playing football.
You're done,
ever
buddy.
The fuck again, bub.
Get out.
I'll get in somebody's way and stop them before you will, because you're checking people at the door like you're good. You're good. You can come.
Yeah, it's like that meme of that fucking guy, the security guy that's just like, all right, go ahead. He
just slides his hands down their arms. He's like, dude, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. I could tell from the first.
I can only imagine. I bet you were going nuts. The
first pass that Baker threw to Mike Evans that he should have caught for a touchdown that like went right through his hands. I said, Kayla, we're losing this game. She's like, don't say that.
Bro, I put in the Buccaneers money line. Bro, like literally Genius. 2 minutes before the game. 2 minutes before the game, I said Buccaneers money line plus 136. Let's go. $10 to win 13. Let's go.
It was.
Let's go.
He's a hitter, bro. I knew it because it just seemed like we had no idea what we were doing offensively too. I mean, there was no reason for us to be this bad. But then you see the tape afterwards, like everybody breaking down the tape. And you texted this to me. How do we beat this defense? You run a fucking slant. What happens when we won the one slant in the game? Devontae Smith catches a slant and goes damn near 50 yards. We don't do it again. What? How does that make sense, bro?
It's not even complicated. Like I said, that's basic Madden principles. They're bringing pressure. They're bringing 8 guys every time. All right, we'll run a slant. I mean, it's not even that hard to figure out. So I don't know I don't know where you go as far as, like what the next step is for Philadelphia. That's really what my next question was going to be, is like, what happens this offseason? Do you fire Sirianni? I know you've got multiple guys that are retiring. You got Kelsey, you've got Fletcher Cox, you've got Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, maybe on their way out. So like, I don't know, like, what do you do?
It's tough. I know they had their exit interviews today. I did watch the New Heights episode today. Jason said himself, he's like, I haven't made an announcement yet. So everything that has been pushed about retirement is been media pushed.
He's done though, man. He's done.
I agree. I just think he wants to make that announcement. He hasn't yet. It's been stolen from him, which I do not think is fair. It's for him to say, he's like top 3 centers of all time, if not number 1, right?
Right.
So he deserves to have his moment where he gets to step out and say, "You look like everything that football has done for me." And I'll get to Jason because I want to take a moment and just fully embrace this has been a hell of a run. But
what
Lane Johnson
happens?
said,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Lane Johnson said he's going to play for a couple more years, but I don't know that he stays in Philly. Fletcher Cox said he didn't know. Brandon Graham said he'd like to play for some more years. But there's a lot of question, too, like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham's. Yes, they were the best defensive players in that game, but their production has fallen. They're not every down guys like they used to be. So I think, if anything, they needed to sign, like, cheaper deals, or they need to restructure to give us a chance because – granted, we do have a good team, but we have to address our secondary issues, our linebacker issues, and we have to get Brian Johnson. And Nick Sirianni, he might be, a player's coach. He's not a football coach. He can stay on the staff. I don't care. He's a good morale guy. Like, he is good with the guys as much as he is, but he's not a head football coach. A head football coach is a guy that – I want Doug Peterson back, truthfully.
Yeah, like we've talked about Philly as a culture, they're kind of impatient. They're liable to pull the trigger a year early instead of a year late, which I respect it. That's how I would want my team to be too, though. Like let's pull the trigger a year early opposed to a year late. But my main question is, what do you do with AJ Brown? What's going on with that?
Obviously,
one of the best receivers in the league. What do you do with him? Because obviously he's not happy where he's at. He's playing second fiddle to Devontae Johnson, Dallas Goedert. So like what's going on with that? I really would like to know what you think as a Philly fan.
And I've tried to process this. Like, Devontae Smith's contract, his rookie contract, is up this offseason, so he has to be re-signed. He's not going to settle for a franchise tag because he knows he can go out and get – he is a number one receiver, truthfully. Right. If he was getting
any other team in the league was going to pay him premium money.
He was the only player that showed out in that game. He really did look like he wanted it. So I say you pay Devontae like he's a number one, pay him like a top 10 receiver, and you try to move A.J. Brown's contract. I love A.J. Brown. Good for him. But the way the offense was last year is not built for a guy like A.J. Brown, unfortunately. A.J. Brown wants the ball. He wants to have ball control. I get it. You're a top 3 receiver in the league, but your mindset is not helping this team succeed. And I do think overall ended up being a detriment to the team. I think there was too much.
It was a distraction.
Focus. Yeah, it's a distraction. So I think there's got to be. We have to re-sign DeAndre Swift. I mean, that's a huge. Must huge key.
And and for me, that is really the downfall of Philly is they. Me and you text every fucking week,
Yeah.
But they got away from the run game.
Yeah.
That is what made them who they were. That's what won them 10 games. Yeah. Is being dominant on first and second down in the run game. And it was like they just forgot who they were and they decided, we want to pass it on first and 10, first and 15, whatever.
Run a bubble screen.
Yeah, for what? For what? To gain negative 2 yards? It's like, come on, man. Like, that's not who you are.
It doesn't make any sense because how do we not see what Shane Steichen did for us last year and completely change? You're telling me a Shane Steichen playbook isn't laying around the facility somewhere? You can't just open it up and fucking run through those old plays? Like, just run what he ran last year. Why did we not go back? So I think there's the issue in a coaching staff. I think
honestly Sirianni lost the locker room.
Yeah.
I think that he lost control and he's this rah-rah guy. He's a front runner though, He likes to talk a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, if you're not performing, then it has, that has no effect. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's got to find a way to rekindle that fire and get people motivated to perform week in and week out. Because after week 12, the Eagles were dog shit. Absolutely dog shit.
Yep. Worst offense in the league, I'd say.
Lost to the Giants, who were one of the worst offenses in the league,
Yep. Tough stretch. I pray that they actually consider opening up interviews to guys like Vrabel, give them a chance to come in. I think it would be great for the locker room culture. I think Vrabel and Jalen Hurts as the leaders of this team would be back right on top where we're supposed to be. But that's neither here nor there. I do want to give praise to the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield.
Yes,
Baker Mayfield
absolutely. We cannot sit here and talk about this game without mentioning Baker Mayfield and the fact that he threw for 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been how many head coaches? It's like 6 head coaches in the last 8 years or whatever, however long he's been in the league, and he just continues to defy the odds. Fucking walk on at Texas Tech. Walk on. Goes to Oklahoma, another walk-on, wins the Heisman Trophy, is a first-round draft pick.
1-1 draft pick.
It's crazy. And the more that you doubt this man, the more that he just fucking succeeds. You know?
I respect him.
I'm a big Baker fan. I like Baker just because he defies the odds. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so good for the Buccaneers, good for the NFC South, showing out. I love it.
Tough.
I love it.
It's tough. I'm happy for Baker, 337 yards. Shad White carried the ball well on the ground. Cade Otton put on a show, too. That's somebody that got forgotten.
A dog.
Every time he got the ball, he just fucking looked like he ground. He's a big motherfucker, too, bro.
He is.
Trey Palmer, huge 56-yard run where he didn't even get touched, even though there was 4 guys in front of him. Cough, cough, James Bradbury. You're the worst player in football. But
no, that's facts. That's facts.
It's so true. I would have fucking at least pushed him. The guy just looked at him. He's like, where you going? And then Kenneth Gainwell on that one play, there's a huge fucking hole, bro. Run through it. But he decides to run around Lane Johnson, realizes, oh, he's blocking a guy here. Let me just turn around, go all the way back, do a fucking sideways stutter step like a fucking crab. You look like a crab. He's like, ooh, 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 ooh. Like fucking Zoidberg and Futurama. He's like, fucking, dude, oh my God. That whole game had me pissed off. I guarantee it. 2 things. Jalen Hurts isn't the problem. He is a great quarterback. He's a great leader. The only reason that he's getting persecuted is because he is the quarterback of a Philadelphia sports team. They got to find a reason to be mad at him. I think he's good enough. He's shown it. It just comes down to the same situation as any quarterback in the league. You have to have the right coaching and the right scheme, or else you will fail. This is a cutthroat league, and they will come for you if you slip. If you slip. Second thing, if this is Jason Kelce's last game, as a Philadelphia fan, we love you and we appreciate you. It's probably never reach him, and I'm sure he's going through his whole emotions, realizing like what he has to do, and it's tough because that guy fucking loves football. Being a center, like you have to fucking love it, dude, to be that guy.
You're butting heads with somebody every fucking play as a center.
17
you
years.
don't play that long. You don't play that long unless you absolutely love the game. Yep. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jason Kelce, man. He's a fucking dog, man. I fucking go watch the documentary on Amazon Prime, because I swear to God, you will have so much more respect for just the center position in general. You know,
it's very, very hard to. It gets overlooked a lot. It's not a loved position. Obviously, it's not the most beautiful position, but
it's not pretty at all. It's not pretty at all.
It is very important and very detrimental. You have to have a
But it is one of the, like you said, it's one of the most important positions because every play you are touching the ball. You are snapping the ball, So Philadelphia has a lot of questions. They have a lot of questions to answer this offseason.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. I think we're going to have to see what we do this offseason. I know they had their exit meetings today. So we'll see what comes out of it. I know a lot of guys were coming to the aid of Sirianni. Nobody said a word about Brian Johnson, so I think that goes to show a lot. I think the locker room does love Sirianni, but I think that he got caught up as well and believing in his coaches, his coordinators more than he believed in his components. And I think
losing your offensive and your defensive coordinator in the same year was really, really a detriment.
Yeah.
People don't realize that
Yeah.
you got Gannon and Steichen both head coaches in different organizations.
Yep.
And that's really a hard something. It's just hard to overcome,
Yep, I agree. It's tough, and I think we're gonna have to do the same thing again. But we just got to find the right piece. I wouldn't mind going out and getting Vrabel, bringing him in, letting him run the thing. I wouldn't mind going to get what's his name from the Chargers, Kellen Moore.
What about Ben Johnson, the Detroit offensive
if we could
coordinator?
pull Ben Johnson,
he's going to be a head coach somewhere.
He's going to be a head coach. Yeah. But somebody that wants to remain an offensive coordinator, I think Kellen Moore would be a huge one to get. And I think he's got a vendetta against Dallas. So don't be shocked you see Kellen Moore come play OC in
the NFC East, yeah.
In the NFC East somewhere. He might go.
He might go to Washington.
Yeah, I think he might go join Bieniemy. I seen Ron Rivera was looking at becoming a defensive coordinator somewhere. I swear to God, if we call him, I'll not watch football next year.
Yes, you will. Shut up. Yes, you will.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was this last week. We did go, 4-2? I think it was.
Our bets of the week were dog shit.
Yeah.
Well, yours was actually pretty good. Mine, within, like I said, 15, 20 minutes of the game, it was over.
It was over.
I had Cleveland -2 and the under, and there was about 57,000 points scored in that game. So.
Oh fuck!
You had Jared Goff 2+ touchdowns, Detroit money line, and Kyron Williams anytime touchdown. I don't know.
Kyron didn't get the anytime TD. Was the one that I missed. Yeah, Kyron Williams did not get a touchdown. That's the one I missed. But Goff had 2 TDs, Goff did not have 2 TDs. I sucked. I had Detroit money line though. He had 1 TD. Damn, I suck. Let's talk divisional round though. We got some matchups this week.
Yeah.
There's 8 teams left in football. 4 football games this weekend, and then 2, and then 1. 4, 2, 1. We have 7 games left in the NFL season. Only 1 can remain. This is where it gets funky, man. We start getting into the nitty-gritty. The first game that is the opener for us is the Saturday game. The Texans roll into Baltimore, play the Ravens. This is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for the Texans. But the Texans did play the Ravens close earlier this year, and it was a good game. And I think C.J. Stroud's gotten better with time. But this is where I get lost. It's like rest versus rust. It's a tough thing, having that time off. But if I'm a betting man, I'd say Ravens win.
Yeah, Baltimore, no doubt, they're winning this game, 100%.
They cover 9 though. What about that?
I don't think they cover. I don't think they cover. I think they win by a touchdown. Yeah. But Ravens, there's no way Baltimore loses this game. No shot.
It would be sick if they did.
I love C.J. Stroud. I love D'Amico Ryans. I love what they've accomplished this year. But there is no fucking way that Baltimore loses this game. No shot in hell. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't think Baltimore covers the -9, but I do think they win the game. Whether that's 7-8, who knows? It might be 30. defense, they're not built that way.
No.
They're not built to put that type of pressure
Yeah.
on, especially against an offensive line like San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's just a total mismatch. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would probably take the over. It's 50.5.
Yeah.
Over under. I'll probably take the over. I think it's probably 32-27.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in
That's
that.
where I was about at. Yeah. I'd say the 49ers are going to score at will, I think. But if the Packers do pull this off, it'll be incredible. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I hope the 49ers lose, but if I'm a betting man,
no shot Packers win this game. No shot.
As a betting man, you have to go where the money is, and I will say that the 49ers win this game. 49ers. All right. And they probably will cover 9 points, but it's going to be tough. All right, Sunday we have the last two games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to Detroit to play the Lions. Now, this is a tough game for me for two things. If Baker Mayfield plays good like he did against Philly, this Detroit defense, I mean, they're going to give up some points. So I think this also is an over game. Because Detroit's going to be prepared to beat this Todd Bowles offense or defense. So I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, but I do think Detroit has more firepower.
Right. And if you've watched Detroit in the last 2 years, they are an offensive juggernaut. They're not so much concerned with defense. Yeah. They want to play the shootout game. We want to go for two. We want to go for it on fourth down. That's the way Dan Campbell has coached this team. I think Jared Goff is fired up. He wants to go back to the Super Bowl. I think I would take the over in this game. I don't. Detroit is a 6.5 point favorite.
That's a tough call.
I wanna say they cover though. I want to say they cover. I want to say they win by 7 touchdown. I think that's another game like the Niners and the Packers. I think that's a 35-28 type game.
Yeah, somewhere in their game.
Yeah.
I would say the Lions win. They win by a touchdown. I think they probably get out to a lead like 14-0, and then the Bucs are playing catch up the rest of the game. And I think it'd be 28-35, 40, somewhere in there. But I think the Lions.
And it really all depends on Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Hey, the Buccaneers are going to go as Baker Mayfield goes. If he's able to play the way he did last week against Philly, and throw 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, I think the Buccaneers have a legit shot at beating Detroit. But if Detroit is able to box him up and confuse him and force a couple turnovers, I think Lions win easily. So. Yeah. Really just depends on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I see it that same way. It all comes down to if Baker shows up and he continues to show up. I mean, we've seen up and downs with him, so we'll see what we get out of him this weekend. I do think this will be a good game to watch. Last game, probably the best matchup-wise, a game from a couple years ago that changed football forever, the overtime game. This is the Chiefs going to Buffalo to play the Bills. Bills open up as 3-point favorites, and I think I'm riding there, and I think the Bills could possibly hurt the Chiefs' feelings, but I will say they win.
Yeah, I think I texted you earlier in the week. I said this is Bills. What did I say?
Super Bowl run. Super Bowl.
Yes, yeah, team of destiny. Team of destiny. Yeah. It feels like the more that we talk about the Bills and McDermott and Allen and that defense and all the injuries that they've been through and all the adversity they've been through, it feels like this is the year, Yeah. And
this will be the Bills' Super Bowl right here.
Josh Allen has been so up and down, but it feels like he's finally playing at a Super Bowl caliber level. He's not making the mistakes that he did earlier in the year. Yep. Kansas City has been down offensively. They have been down. dropped a lot of the Lehigh dropped passes. Yep. The only saving grace, I guess, for the Chiefs is the defense, and we've talked about Spagnuolo and what he has been able to do this year. So it ought to be a good game. Buffalo opens up as a 3-point favorite at home. I'm probably putting my money on the Bills. I hate to do it. I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, but I also think Josh Allen is really, 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 really good. And Sean McDermott 6-0 since Al Qaeda, so
using it as the reference, giving them praise. So they're hot, and this is, like I said, this is going to be the Bills Super Bowl. I think they're going to be playing like this is their Super Bowl. Granted, I think Mahomes will show up, but it'll probably come down to like the Chiefs' passes are going. I mean, they're going to fall. They're going to
drop some passes. Yeah. Kadarius Toney
has come on strong, but everybody else has been.
But Toney, Watson, you've got several other players that have just underperformed the entire year, and so I don't have a lot of confidence in the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think the Bills at home. That's really tough,
I have 2 reports that just came through from Adam Schefter. Would you like me to start with A or B first?
A.
Cowboys have announced Mike McCarthy will return as the head coach.
No fucking
for
way.
The Dallas Cowboys. That means Belichick turned him down.
He's going to Atlanta. Fuck you.
Yeah. You want B now?
Yeah, let's hear B. What's B?
The Philadelphia Eagles have announced Nick Sirianni will return as the head coach of the Philadelphia.
You can't fire your head coach after going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think they give him 1 year to right the ship.
Wait, I had this conversation with my buddy who is also a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I said, if they go 1-3 out the gate, Sirianni's done.
They'll move him so fast. They'll go get anybody. They'll put an interim in there. They'll let Jalen Hurts coach the team from the sideline.
Yeah, he's definitely on the hot seat, 100%.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think for now, right decision as the Eagles. It's going to be tough to bring in somebody and try and change everything up. Just keep it, see what you can fix, and things can always change. Teams say this stuff all the time, and then something happens, then you got a new coach or a new scheme or a new player. Like, oh, I'm not going to trade this player, and then the next 3 days later they're traded. So we'll see what happens. That is breaking news. This is our picks. Do you have a bet of the week that you would like to put in?
Yeah. I always have a bet of the week. I'm a fucking degenerate. I think I'm gonna go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna go Buffalo -3 at home. I'm gonna take the under. Actually, I'm gonna take the over 45.5.
Okay.
I think Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes go off. I think it's going to be a shootout. But I do think Buffalo covers the -3. So that's my bet of the week.
I like that. I am struggling with taking a cover. This is hard for me. But I have been favoring... Well, let me do this. I feel most comfortable with Lions covering 6.5. I say they win by a touchdown or more. I like that. Lions cover 6.5. But this game could go either way. You get 2 shit offenses. So I'm not going to say over under. I'm going to say David Montgomery anytime touchdown. And
I think Jared Goff goes for 250 plus.
Yeah, I like 250 plus. I was gonna say 2 touchdowns, but it could be either way. So I want to say 250 Go to the alternate yards because I don't think they'll set him at. I think they'll set him at like 265. So go to the alternate yards.
I think he goes 250 plus. I think he goes for at least one touchdown.
Yeah.
And like you said, David Montgomery, anytime touchdown.
Anytime. He's always. Yeah, I mean, he scores a touchdown every game. I feel like.
Yep. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has a huge game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's gonna bust some open. He's gonna have a couple long runs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like that combo, Montgomery.
Yes, that's one of the best duos in the league.
It's like a power ball, and then you got the flash right behind him. It's a nice little combo. I like watching them. I'm rooting for the Lions, and I'm rooting for the Texans. Those are the two teams that I'm really pulling for. And it would be cool to see Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl, but I'm still going to vote. I'm going to pull for Stroud, and I'm going to pull for the Lions to keep on this miracle season. Aside from that, Murph, you got anything else you want to add? I seen Kentucky's up about 15 points right now. They did have a tough loss the other day.
Yeah, they lost in overtime to Texas A&M. Was working during that game, but I also was able to catch the overtime period, and it was that was a really tough watch. They weren't able to get anything going offensively. I think they scored 2 points on free throws in that overtime period. We got to figure out what's going on in half court. If we're great, this is what really worries me about these UK Cats basketball. We're great in transition. We can get up and down the court better than anybody. Our defense is terrible. Our half court offense is terrible. So then that really matters when it comes to March, when it comes to playing really, really good basketball. So I do have a few concerns when it comes to that aspect of the game, but I think these Cats are young. They're still learning. They're still trying to figure out the chemistry, and we just got to get a rotation going at the end of the games, because you can't have a stagnant offense in half court set when it comes to big conference games, big tournament games.
Yeah.
I love our team. I love our talent, but we have some questions that need to be answered.
Yep. I'm watching the score on this game now. Mississippi State has closed the gap. It is a 6-point game with 17 minutes left. They're up 6 points on Mississippi State, the number 8 Wildcats. There's a bunch of other ranked games that are going to be tipped off here soon. So we got some games going on if you are into college basketball. We'll tip into that more so when football season winds down. It's still football season. We got 7 games left, so we're going to enjoy them the most. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a good episode. Ran through a lot. We talked about having Brian on. When he hits you up, we'll set something up. We'll get him on. Go check out our new Facebook page. I think it'll open us up to a lot more exposure because it can be publicly shared upon. It's got the right things in place to avoid, the bots that continually put porn on our other site. So we're going to go ahead and clean that up. We're going to get that out there. Working on some sponsors and ads, and we'll probably do ad reads soon, but we'll see how those things play out. I'm trying to concoct all kinds of things, so we'll see what gets worked up. But for now, you get the video.
We got some stuff in the works, ladies and gentlemen.
Stuff in the works. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the YouTube. Watch some of our older videos. See how far we've come. Scroll back on Spotify to our very first episode and compare it to now. You'll see the difference in the work that we have put in. Tell your mama about us. Put the phone in your grandma's face. Show her how it works. Show her how to hit subscribe. She ain't going to like it. She's not going to understand it, but it counts and it works for us. We love you.
The algorithm.
The algorithm.
Peace.